Hey queens, it's like 6 in the morning, so I'm real tired. Sorry, I know I'm wearing my glasses, so you probably can't see my eyes because all you can see is a reflection of the phone, but, I am so tired, I want to die. So this video that I am filming right now, I have already filmed it and posted it, and then deleted it from my camera roll. But the thing is, I didn't stop to think before deleting it that I need to check that it's actually uploaded. Spoiler alert, it had not uploaded, so I'm having to refilm it to post it. But essentially, I changed my mind. I need my laptop. I've written notes on my laptop and I can't think straight right now. I'm back. Sorry, right. I don't remember what I already said. Sorry, I'm pouring out my drink again because I just downed it because I was really thirsty. But yeah, so the book 1984 by George Orwell. I read it and then I filmed my little review thing of it, right? And I said, didn't like it, didn't have fun reading it. I understand why it's important to read and all, but I just did not have a good time. Yeah, so I am here to make a formal public retraction.
Some people just don't get it. That Squarespace isn't just for websites.
Sorry about that. I have no idea why I opened up my laptop and it immediately started doing an ad read at me. I don't know. Anyway, oh, my notes actually don't cover this bit. Right. I'm so tired and I wish I'd just checked whether this video had finished uploading before I deleted it. Anyway, I deleted it for stuff I didn't even need it. I was looking for these for about an hour yesterday and they're just on my desk. Anyway, point is, I said that the book was long, boring, difficult to read, and I was so glad to get it over with that once I was finished with it, I literally threw it away and picked up my next book, The Hunger Games, which I need to film a video on after this because I read this in a day. Oh no, that's fine. But the thing is, I realised that it did actually leave an effect on me. Sorry, I'm really tired. I realised that the book did actually leave a massive effect on me. Like, for about a week after I read it, and even after I posted the video. Sorry, I'm going to keep pausing because I'm so tired and I keep losing track of my thoughts. Yeah, about a week after I'd read the book, I just couldn't stop thinking about it. Hence, I read like a page of The Hunger Games and then had to reread the page and reread the page and reread the page, and I just couldn't get into it. Even though I've read The Hunger Games before and I love The Hunger Games, I just couldn't get into reading it because I couldn't stop thinking about 1984. And even like scrolling social media, which I usually do predominantly with my brain turned off. Not that there's much of a brain there to turn off, but you know what I mean. But like I kept seeing things that were happening and then a quote from the book would spring to mind, do you know what I mean? So I've realised that it has had more of an effect on me than literally any other book that I've ever read in my life. I've read books before, obviously. I've read books before that have had an effect on me. Like my favorite book of all time, The Book of Lost Things. That had an effect on me because it's my favorite book of all time. But only as far as, like, there were a few quotes that stuck out that I kept thinking about because they were good quotes, right? Like, this is what death was like, trapped in a small space, whatever. I can't actually remember the quote now. It's been a long time since I read the book. Because I lent the book to someone that is near and dear to me, and then they have not read it. I don't even know if they still have it. They'd better. That's a threat if you're watching this. If you've not got my book anymore, you're... Not actually, I'm kidding. But it didn't really leave an effect on me in that if I wanted to just get on with other things, if I wanted to just sit and scroll on my phone, I could. It was only like when I was specifically thinking about things that were relevant to the book that I would then go, this is what death was like. The Hunger Games, like I said, read that before, and that did leave an effect on me. But I'll be honest, when I read it, I was probably about like 10 or 11. So I didn't really have any concept of like just in general politics, if that makes sense. I didn't have any kind of... There was no understanding of politics in my brain. At the time, I was very much of the impression that politics is boring and stupid, and anyone who cares about politics is boring and stupid. Think Sally Bowles. Except I'm not Sally Bowles, I'm a 10 or 11-year-old child. And I feel like at 10 or 11, it's reasonable and excusable for you to not care about politics. Back off. I feel so ugly in these glasses. But yeah. That's one of the reasons I actually want to reread The Hunger Games, is to see if it has a different effect on me now that I have a better understanding of politics, if that makes sense. Because it is a political book, if you think about it. Like, sure, it's a kid's book, but there is a lot of, like, themes of politics, you know what I mean? So yeah, that did leave an impact on me, but not, again, just in the way that, like, I really wanted another Hunger Games book, and I wanted Peter Malark to be a real person. Like, that's as far as it really had an effect on me. This one, I was unable to stop thinking about for ages, and there were so many things that were happening in the real world that would bring back quotes from the book. So I have on my little laptop here a list of quotes from the book and like how that's relevant to real life things that are going on right now. Jesus, did you hear that? My throat just like made a noise. And then after that, I've got not direct quotes, but just things that happened in the books, that happen in the books, that are in the book, that, again, have comparisons, IRL, if you will. So yeah, so the first quote is, Big Brother is watching you. It's probably one of the most famous quotes from the book. I hate the little reflections in my glasses, so I keep having to put my head in weird positions so you don't get it. Oh, great, now there's also there's two. There's my laptop screen and my phone screen. It's fine. But yeah, probably one of the most famous quotes from the book, Big Brother is watching you. Everybody knows the quote, Big Brother is watching you. I personally didn't realise it was from this book for a while. There was a long time in my life that I thought it was from the TV show, I Can't Lie to You. But it is from this book. That's just me being stupid, I think. And I actually think me being stupid is a lot of the reason I didn't get this book at first. I think I got so caught up in the fact that there's a lot of big words in this book, and there's a lot of like made up words in this book, that my brain was kind of struggling to comprehend a lot of what was going on. I still stand by the fact that him hating Julia, wanting to kill her and her, and then suddenly he's so in love with her that he's gonna risk his life to like be with her, makes zero sense to me, and I stand by that till the day that I die. But yeah, I do think a lot of why I kind of wrote this book off so easily is because I am just not smart. I'm stupid, and I didn't really understand the book that much. I felt like I understood the book, I just didn't understand a lot. I feel like I'm explaining this badly. Anyway, so the phrase the phrase Big Brother is watching you, it's one of the most well-known phrases in the book, and it is relevant to real life. The examples that I've written down here is mass surveillance. That's the thing that happens in real life. And I guess you could say that Big Brother is watching you, except instead of Big Brother, it's big. Is that where the phrase like Big Pharma comes from? Big Brother, big pharma, big corporate. Oh my god, I'm literally so smart. Jesus Christ, I can't see. My hood was covering this eye, blocking the laptop from this eye, and I'm so blind in this eye. Even though I'm wearing my glasses, which should fix it, but it just doesn't. I need an eye appointment. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Data tracking. You can't really do anything without it going, hey, can we have all of your information, please? We're definitely not going to sell it on the black market, but can we have all of your information, please? Can we know your date of birth, place of birth, mother's maiden name? You can't use YouTube if you don't know that. If we don't know that. Don't be silly. To clarify, YouTube has never asked me for my mother's maiden name. And also, if people are asking you for your mother's maiden name and those sorts of questions, don't tell them unless they're people that you know and trust. If like some stranger on the internet is asking you like your place of birth, your mother's maiden name, your first pet's name, don't answer. They're probably trying to get into something of yours they shouldn't be. Yeah, facial recognition. There's a lot of that happening right now. There's one thing that they were thinking about bringing in UK that got quite a lot of backlash, which was that they were going to set up cameras that used AI in shops, and the AI would monitor everyone for suspicious behavior and then auto alert people, and it would just assume that suspicious behavior meant that you were shoplifting, and that's got a decent amount of backlash because autistic people are going to set that off all the time. Like me personally, I'm autistic. Don't know if you knew that. I probably actually haven't even disclosed that before because I don't really like disclosing that to people I don't know. But it's relevant, so yeah. I hate going shopping. The lights are too bright, it's too crowded, it's too noisy. It's boring, to be completely honest with you. I love shopping for things. I love going clothes shopping. I love going trinket shopping. Grocery shopping, I hate. I don't think I've ever in my life made a Tesco's run without at some point having to stand and spin in circles in the aisle because I am so bored out of my mind I want to rip my eyeballs out of my head. That is gonna trigger the AI, suspicious behavior thing, and then I'm gonna have security guards up my butt cheeks thinking I'm shoplifting when all I'm doing is spinning in circles because I'm understimulated and want to kill myself. But yeah, apparently that's all moving on. The fact that social media posts, they check your social media posts if you want to go to the UK now. US now. Idiot. They're basically the same thing at this point. The UK likes to follow in the US's footsteps, so... but yeah, if you want to go to the US at the minute, apparently they check your social media history, and if you've ever said anything mean about Donald Trump or JD Vance or ICE or etc., 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 then you get permanently banned from ever entering the US, apparently, which I think is really funny. Not funny, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not funny. It's mad. Is a better word for it. Yeah, my next quote is, war is peace, freedom is slavery, and ignorance is strength. This is like the mantra of the party, if that makes sense. Like, this is one of the like propaganda slogans that they spread. And I have an example for each of these things. I have an example for the war is peace, for the ignorance is strength, and for the freedom is slavery part. Sorry, I have really bad memory. So yeah, so sorry, I got distracted. Jesus Christ, I'm doing this all in one take. I don't care, and I'm doing like no editing, so enjoy this. I have obviously paused the video, but I just used the little pause button that comes up in the corner. I haven't actually stopped the video and started a whole new segment. Anyway, war is peace. Probably the most glaring example of that is the fact that the Gaza Peace Committee doesn't have Palestine on it, but it does have Israel. Do you think maybe if Israel cared that much about Gaza peace, it would stop bombing Gaza, maybe? Maybe do we think that is maybe a sign that maybe the Gaza Peace Committee isn't really caring about Gaza peace? Maybe? But yeah, if you've actually seen, like, the clips from the Gaza Peace Committee, like, meetings and stuff, it's all just them going, hey, when we finish bombing Gaza to the ground, maybe we can build an amusement park. Shut the hell up. Shut up. You're so stupid. You can't just slap the word peace onto it and have that make everything okay. Like, that's so stupid. Also, don't call it New Gaza. You can't bomb a place to the ground, build an amusement park over the skeletons of the people who used to live there, and just go, it's the new version of this thing. Shut the hell up. Also, if you cared about peace, why would you be talking about amusement parks? If you had an organization called Gaza Peace Committee that actually cared about peace in Gaza, first off, you'd have Palestine on it. Second off, you wouldn't have Israel on it. And third off, you'd be talking about ways to stop the genocide in Gaza and not talking about what we're going to build on the rubble of Gaza once we've flattened it. Shut the hell up. Also, Why does Donald Trump's son-in-law get a say on what happens to Gaza after the genocide is finished? Why does he get a say? It wasn't any of his business. Why don't we let the people of Palestine choose what happens to Gaza after the genocide is over? And also, can we maybe not end the genocide via flattening it? Maybe we can end the genocide via, hey, Israel, stop bombing Gaza. I feel like that's a better way to end the genocide. Anyway, moving on. I got a little bit more passionate about this one last time I filmed it, I'll be honest. I actually cried in the version of this video that was already posted, but again, that version didn't end up finishing posting, and I deleted it whilst it was still uploading, so it didn't manage to finish uploading. Do you know what I mean? So I'm refilming it. So a lot of the raw emotion that was in the first one is not going to be in this one because I've already kind of gone through this one. Sorry, I don't know why I paused it. Anyway. The freedom is slavery. Sorry, I'm really bad at this. I cannot read. The freedom is slavery example that I've put is, the fact that, and this isn't just an America thing, this is happening in so many places, the fact that people keep taking away rights from minorities under the guise of, like, freedom of expression or freedom of speech or whatever for the majorities. Do you know what I mean? I can't even think straight. Sorry, I'm so tired. I don't know why. I was asleep literally the whole day yesterday. I should not be this tired. I'm not the same as yesterday. Anyway, the ignorance is strength one that I've put is, the example I've used is about Twitter, or X, but nobody calls it X, let's be real. The only person I've literally ever heard call it X regularly, besides Elon Musk, is Jack Manifold, the YouTuber, and I think he does it ironically, I think. But yeah, so he being Elon Musk, Elon Musk runs Twitter now, right? And Elon Musk is undeniably a political figure at this point. Like, he very much has a say on the politics in America. He insinuated at one point that he rigged the US election to get Donald Trump into office. He very much has had an effect on the political climate of the United States of America right now. And yet he has now decided, now that everything's kind of gone to rubbish around him, he's now decided that he's going to put an option onto X. I just cringe myself out calling it X. He's going to put an option onto Twitter to make it so that you can block all political posts, so that the people who are using his app don't have to see the world devolving into fascism around them. Even though it's his fault, partially his fault. I'm not going to act like Donald Trump, Benjamin Netanyahu, etc. are free of blame, because they're not. But yeah. Yeah. So, I'm so tired. Another example. Oh no, this is a complete different point. A complete different quote. Who controls the past controls the future. I've got a couple of examples here. A couple being, I believe, two. 2.5, I'll call it. The first one being that they keep tearing down monuments and like stuff like that about slavery. They keep apparently, I don't know if this is true, I haven't fully fact checked this, but apparently Donald Trump has said that he has to approve things that are being displayed in museums, and he's making them like take down all of their exhibits on slavery and stuff. And yeah, another example I've got of this one is that they are changing what children are taught in schools, particularly as it like in like the sense of history, because they want to change what children believe about the past so that they can control the past, so that they can control the future. And the 0.5 that I said, the most glaring example I could think of, was that there was a video going around a few months ago that was supposed to be shown to children in schools about Christopher Columbus. Not a very nice guy, right? But this video was essentially Christopher Columbus going, hey guys, I was a good guy. Hey guys, I was nice. Hey guys. Also, you know that slavery thing that we did? Did you know that's actually okay? Did you know that slavery is actually okay because everyone did it back then? It wasn't just me. It was everyone was doing it back then, so it was okay. And also the slaves wanted to be slaves, bro. Slaves literally wanted to be slaves. Don't come for me about this. Like, it was literally fine. It was literally fine. So yeah. Pretty blatant example of trying to, like, rewrite the past. Although, to be fair, none of that is excusable. All I was going to say is that a lot of history has already been obviously rewritten because the victors get to rewrite the history or whatever. Like, a lot of what we know about history is probably wrong. Like, unreliable narrators are a thing. People, obviously, are always going to have biases, so as they're recording things that are happening, they could miss out details, they could exaggerate details, and the farther back you go, the less likely the information is to be correct. But I will tell you for a fact, the slaves did not want to be slaves. Don't be stupid. If the slaves wanted to be slaves, do you think the slaves would have run away as much as they ran away? Do you think they would have done all that work that they did to get equal rights back in the day if they all just wanted to be slaves? I don't know why I said back in the day. People are still fighting for equal rights. Sorry, anyway. I can't see, bro. Ooh. Don't know what happened there. The next quote that I've got is 2 + 2 = 5. The example that I've got on this is just, in general, the misinformation that people... I've named some people on here. Pam Bondi, Caroline Levitt, JD Vance, even Donald J. Trump himself. DJ Flatulence, as we call him. They're constantly spreading misinformation. And all the MAGA idiots will eat up whatever they throw at them without fact-checking anything. There's so much stuff that would, like, be the simplest stuff to fact-check, but they just don't. You don't even really need to fact-check it. If you just listen to what they're saying, they kind of contradict themselves a lot. Like, and this, I'm going to also, if I remember, use as an example a bit later for another one of the quotes. They kept saying so many times, we're not going after Venezuela for the oil, we're going after Venezuela for... because drugs, maybe? Because maybe they do drug cartels? Because maybe that guy maybe is a dictator? Maybe? And then Donald Trump one time was being interviewed and he went, yeah, they have oil. They have oil and we want to get our hands on their oil. Actually. Like, they spent so long trying to convince people they weren't going after Venezuela for the oil. And then DJ Flatulence just outright went, yeah, we're doing this for the oil. Actually, we're doing this for the oil. Actually. Apparently, I've never been on live television before. Yeah. The next quote I've got is, the party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and your ears. It was their final, most essential command. Why are my glasses wet? What the hell, eh? Anyway, there are so many examples that I could have used for this one. But the example that I have used is one of the most recent examples. As of you watching this, there is probably a more recent example. But as of me recording this, this is probably the most recent example. It's the most recent one that I have seen. Yeah, but so Alex Pretty. You can sit there and watch like 5, 6, 7... like 5, 6, 8 different views. I wasn't going to do it again. Different, like, points of view, different angles of him being shot. In those different points of view, in every single one of them, you can see that he's not holding a weapon. He's only holding his phone, which he was using to record, which you're allowed to do, by the way. You're fully allowed to do that. And the only thing that he did was he jumped in to try and protect a woman that ICE was already attacking. From so many different points of view, there are so many different points of view, by the way, of this, of him being shot. And in every single one of them, you can see that that is the case. He did not pull out a weapon. I don't know if he had a weapon on him, but he didn't pull it out. And yet, you can watch all these different points of view and you can see for yourself that he did nothing wrong. He just jumped in to try and protect a woman that was already being attacked and that he had not pulled out a gun on anyone. And then you have to also then watch Donald Trump, J.D. Vance, Kristi Noem. You have to watch all of these people then say, actually, they had to shoot that guy because he pulled out a gun on them. He literally did that. When we've seen that that's not the case. And yet, people lap it up. People do defy the evidence of their eyes and their ears. Like, The most obvious example of people defying the evidence of their eyes and their ears is that I was scrolling on Twitter, like, the day after Alex Pretty got shot, and some idiot had responded to a video of Alex Pretty being shot with a little pie chart of, it was like, illegal immigrants, how many people illegal immigrants have killed versus how many people ISIS killed. Both statistics were probably very wrong, by the way, but they'd put the illegal immigrants bar massive, and they'd set the how many people have ICE killed to 0. Are you stupid? You've replied that on a video of an ICE agent killing a person. I feel like I don't even need to elaborate on that. You're just stupid. I can't read. Oh, that's the point I just did. And then my last quote, like direct quote, is, if you want a picture of the future, imagine a boot stamping on a human face forever. I'm not even going to elaborate on that one. So yeah, that's all of the direct quotes that I could think of. There's probably more that are applicable, but just the ones that I could think of that apply. But there are some things that happened in the books, or that were featured in the books, that I think have a real life counterpart, if that makes sense. And so I've got some examples of those. The first one I've got is the 2 minutes hate. There's a thing in the book, if you haven't read it, called the 2 minutes hate, where they'll show a video of this guy called Goldstein who tried to, like, overthrow government. And he's, like, the big, bad enemy of the party. Like, how dare he have done that? He's so stupid. He was so stupid. And if you agree with him, you're stupid too, also. And obviously, it's in the book, they say that the worst crime you can commit is thought crime, which is essentially, if you think something bad about the party, you've committed thought crime. But the 2 minutes hate is essentially, you have to, it's not, you don't get a choice, you have to sit and watch this 2 minute long video of Goldstein, who, like I said, is like the leader of the people who rebelled against the party, talking. And you don't really have to listen to what he says, you just have to hate him, and you have to, like, passionately hate him. Like, people are shouting at the screen, people are throwing stuff at the screen, and they're watching you the whole time doing this, by the way. And if you're not seen to be passionate enough, then you've committed thought crime. And I think the real life counterpart of that is, I feel like, this is again going to be MAGA. A lot of what I'm going to talk about is going to be the political and economic state of the world right now. The political climate in America. But yeah, I feel like a lot of the time, Donald Trump will pick one person. He'll pick one person who's done something that he didn't like, and he'll go on a tirade about them. And then it almost becomes like a competition amongst, like, MAGA of who can hate this person more and most publicly, and who can harass this person the most. That random lady who was doing nothing wrong got shot. Let's go harass her kid's school and make her kid's school have to get shut down. Like, I feel like it's kind of a similar thing in that the big leader of the party Big Brother, Donald Trump, will pick one person, Goldstein, whoever Donald Trump decides on at the time, and then everybody who follows that person, everybody, MAGA, has to passionately display their hatred towards this person. Like, the more passionate you are about it, the better. So yeah, I feel like that's the comparison that can be made there. The next example I've got is the telescreens. They are, so in the book, there's these things called telescreens, which is essentially, it's a television, right? But instead of it just showing you what you want to watch, it's 24/7 blasting propaganda at you, and it's also watching you. There are cameras in it so that there's, at any time, they're not watching you 24/7, but at any time there could be someone watching you. And there's microphones so they can hear you as well. And it's kind of designed so that you can't just go up to someone and go, hey, I think you don't like the party, I don't like the party, want to team up and rebel? Because you can't do that, because there's always a telescreen there. So there's probably someone watching you at that time. And they'll hear you and they'll go, yeah, you've done thought crime. Off to the Ministry of Love to be tortured. The real life counterpart that I have for that is, first off, social media. I feel like, ow, oh, my shoulder just popped. I just feel like everything is recorded nowadays. I know I probably sound very hypocritical saying that because I'm literally sat here filming myself. But people will film people in public without their consent all the time. People are constantly being recorded without their consent. And not only that, Ring cameras. They started off as a safety thing, right? If somebody breaks into your home, you've got their faces on camera, unless they've got their faces covered. But, you know, if you're followed home by some dude and you manage to get to your house and they turn up a few minutes behind you, you've got that on camera, right? Like, it's a safety thing. And so many people have it. So many people have Ring cameras now. There is probably a Ring camera on almost every street. There's probably some streets that don't have it, but most streets at least have one Ring camera, if not more. And Ring recently made a deal with ICE to let ICE use their footage to find people, which is obviously horrible. So all those people who are just trying to go about their lives, who are the kind of people that ICE will target, now have the same kind of thing of they are probably being watched at all times. They never know for certain that they are not being watched, except for in the privacy of their own home, which isn't a luxury that you get in the book, but is a thing that we do have in real life, I think. You never know whether there's hidden cameras. There could be people watching me right now. I never know. And obviously there's also the, like, conspiracy about how there's a little guy in your phone camera watching you at all times and monitoring you. I don't know whether or not that's true, though, obviously. I don't think anyone really knows whether or not that's true, but, so yeah, there's that. The next thing I've got is the Ministry of Love and Room 101. The Ministry of Love is basically,
Have you been injured due to a slip, trip, or fall?
I did not touch anything. I swear to you, I touched nothing. Bro.
If you suffered from a...
I don't know why that just started playing a video. I swear to you, I did not touch my screen. Anyway. That's actually scared me a little bit. I didn't like that. yeah, the Ministry of Love and Room 101. The Ministry of Love is basically where you get sent if you've committed thought crime so that they can torture you. And Room 101 is like specifically the room where they take you to do like the worst thing to you, right? For example, in the book, Winston, the main character, is deathly afraid of rats, right? So they take him to the Ministry of Love, they torture him. And they get pretty much everything they want out of him, except for two things, right? Number one, he himself still doesn't love the party. Like, he can pretend, sure, but he himself still doesn't love the party, and also he didn't betray Julia, which he did. He gave up all the information about Julia being his girlfriend. He gave up all the information about her being a traitor. But what he meant when he said he didn't betray Julia is they both made a promise that if they were ever caught, that they would, because everybody does. Everybody, when they're being tortured, gives up all the information that they know. So they would betray each other in that way. But that they would never betray each other in the sense that they would never stop loving each other. Right? And that Winston didn't do. Winston didn't stop loving Julia. So their goal of breaking him in Room 101 was to get him to betray Julia. And like I said, Winston's deathly afraid of rats. So they took him into Room 101, and the thing that they did to him in Room 101 was they had like I just dropped a pink Sharpie. They had like a cage with a thing in it, so it was to sit over your face, and then there were rats in it, and they were supposed to like essentially eat him, and he was told they'd probably start with either your tongue or your eyes, right? Like, they're hungry rats. They will just eat you even though you're still alive. They don't care. They're gonna eat you. And the way that he got out of that was to say, don't do this to me, do it to Julia. Therefore betraying Julia in the way that he meant when he said he didn't betray Julia. But yeah, so the real life counterpart I've got for that is the concentration camps that are currently in the US where they're sending people. I don't think they are all in the US. I think some of them are outside of the US. I think people get sent to concentration camps elsewhere. But, you know what I mean. The concentration camps that people in the US get sent to. This is where I cried. I'll be honest, this is where I cried when I filmed this video before, so I'm going to be careful with what I say so that I don't cry again, because this is something that makes me quite emotional. Is, the things that are being reported that they are doing to the people in these camps are horrible. There was an ICE agent who has admitted to this, that he was repeatedly R-wording. I know there's like a whole thing of like, don't censor yourself. I just don't really feel comfortable saying the word. The women there have been reports that they are, without consent, doing surgeries on the women to make it so that they can never have children. There are reports that they are taking the reproductive organs of the men and squeezing them until they burst so that they can never have children. And speaking of the children, God alone knows what's happening to them. Someone went to the camp in Texas that Liam Ramos was taken to. He's been released now, by the way. At the time of me filming this video before, he hadn't, but he has now. Thank the Lord. But there are still so many other children in there. And someone went and stood outside of this camp and recorded, and you could just hear so many children screaming and shouting, and it was in Spanish, so I couldn't personally understand it. But apparently what they were saying was just like, help, get us out of here, we want to go home, help us, help us, help us. And I want to remind you that they are children. They keep kind of saying that that they're going after criminals, they're going after pedophiles, all this. But if the people you're targeting are criminals and pedophiles and gang members, why do you have a concentration camp full of children? Like, sure, gangs do sometimes bring on children, but usually teenagers. Liam Ramos was, 5, I think? Gangs don't usually bring on 5-year-olds. I think it has always been very obvious that they were just using gangs, pedophilia, all this as an excuse to just round up everyone who isn't white and ship them off to a concentration camp. Just in the same way that in Nazi Germany, it wasn't just obviously people of colour, it was Jews, disabled people, gay people. But I feel like the US is getting there. But they would come up with an excuse to round people up and send them off. And it has been pretty obvious that the people that they are rounding up are not all gang members, criminals, you know? Especially pedophiles. If what you're going after is pedophiles, look in the mirror. So many like ICE agents, MAGA people keep getting arrested for child stuff. You know what I'm trying to say? And literally the president of your country was on some island doing some stuff with kids. You know what I mean? Like, it's pretty obvious that you don't care about arresting pedophiles. Stop that. Not stop arresting pedophiles. Stop using pedophilia as an excuse to, like, round up everyone that you don't like. Just because their skin colour is different to yours. So yeah, I made it through this time without crying, but last time I filmed this video, I was bawling by this point. The next example I have fully written out, you can't really see, I've written out like example on this one. So my next example is doublethink, which is a concept in the book, which is that you have to hold two contradictory ideas in your mind at once. Because whatever the party tells you is what you need to accept. Even if they've told you something contradictory before, they weren't wrong then. They just are right now also. And they were also right then, but they're also right now. Even if these two things are completely contradictory, it doesn't matter. The party's always right. And you will think whatever the party wants you to think. So some examples I've got of this are Oh, we're the party of free speech. If you don't like what we're saying, too bad. Boo-hoo. I don't like that thing that you said. I'm going to call your job and get you fired. Right? A specific example of that is, hey, that leftist girl who's got killed, I'm going to make AI videos of her in compromising situations. And it's so funny. It's so funny that I'm doing this. This is the peak of humor. This is so funny. You don't like it? Snowflake. How dare you say that Charlie Kirk was a bad person after he got shot in the neck? How dare you say that he was not a good person? How dare you quote him? How dare you make jokes about his death? I'm going to call your job and get you fired. I'm going to put you on a big list. I can't read, bro. Guns don't kill people. People kill people. I have a right to bear arms. And you can't take that away from me. I can't read, bro. Oh, ICE had to kill that guy. He owned a gun. Even though he didn't pull it out and didn't even threaten to use it on the ICE agents. Kyle Rittenhouse is so based. The leftists are bringing guns to protest now because ICE keeps shooting people. Clearly, they're trying to instigate violence. I don't remember word for word what I put, but... Oh, I actually pretty much got that word for word. I just called them darned leftists and said incite instead of instigate. Okay. Oh, ICE tear-gassed a baby and killed it? Why have you brought a baby to a dangerous place anyway? The dangerous place being the backseat of his mum's car, so just going about their day-to-day life. It's so funny that Elon Musk is using his kid as a human shield because he doesn't want to get shot in the head. That's so funny of him. I'm so bad at reading here. That lesbian mother who was going about her life, just going about her day-to-day life, doing literally nothing wrong, whose last words were, "I'm not mad at you." She was clearly a domestic terrorist, and that's why they shot her. Oh, a self-proclaimed Nazi has been beat up because he outright said, "Hey guys, hey leftists, I'm a Nazi and I'm going to be at this exact location. I'm doxing myself right now. This is exactly where I'm going to be at this exact time. Come do something about it." So the leftists came and do something about it. They call you a Nazi just so they can kill you. They didn't even kill him, by the way. They just beat him. So yeah, there's a lot of like contradicting ideas, and they still believe that they are right all the time. And I think that is reminiscent of doublethink. That's all my examples, but I have one thing to say. I see a lot of people all the time saying, the politics in the US shouldn't affect you. You live in the UK. It's never been said to me directly, but I see it said to people all the time. You don't live in the US, so why do you care about US politics? It doesn't affect you. First off, I'm just saying this before anyone comes on this video and starts saying some rubbish like that. First off, it does. We have this absolute loser in this country called Nigel Farage. And he wants to be our next prime minister, right? Which, if you don't know, is essentially the UK's version of a president. We don't call him the president, we call him the prime minister. But, yeah, he wants to run our country, right? And he fancies himself as a Donald Trump 2.0. trying to think of how to say this nicely. He is probably Donald Trump's biggest bootlicker, right? He thinks ICE should be brought to this country. He has outright said that Donald Trump taking over the UK would be a great idea. So, if he gets in, everything that's happening in the US is going to happen in the UK. So yeah, obviously, in that sense, everything that happens in the US does affect the UK. Not only that, in general, the UK keeps seeming to use the US as like a guinea pig. Like, the UK will want to do something but won't do it, and then the US will do it, and then the UK will go, oh, I guess we can do it now. For example, in the US, they overturned Roe v. Wade. In the UK, they started going, hey, actually, you guys wouldn't mind if we just took your right to an abortion away, would you? We haven't quite lost the right to an abortion, but they keep discussing it. They keep discussing it and trying to make it harder. So even if that loser Nigel Farage doesn't get to run the country, the things that happen in the US still directly affect the UK. Also, just saying, if you live in the UK, don't vote for Nigel Farage. Obviously, you have the right to vote for whoever you want, but I am begging you, do not vote for Nigel Farage. If you vote for Nigel Farage, again, you have the right to vote for whoever you want, but if you vote for Nigel Farage, I have the right to say that you are a loser and you are an idiot and that I hate you. Anyway, even if the things that were happening in the US didn't directly affect the things that happen in the UK in the ways that I just said that they do, I don't have to be personally going through something to have empathy for the people that do. I don't have to be a person of colour in the US right now to hate what is happening to people of colour in the US right now. I don't have to be living in Afghanistan to have empathy for the women in Afghanistan for what's happening to them right now. I don't have to live in Palestine to have empathy for the people of Palestine right now. I don't have to be experiencing something to have empathy for the people who are experiencing that thing. I feel like it's basic human emotion, empathy. I feel like empathy is the one thing that does make us human. And if you don't have empathy, I'm not going to finish that sentence because it wasn't going to be very nice. But yeah, you can say, there are many things you can say about me. You can, what's the word I'm looking for? The opposite of compliment. You can say a lot of bad things about me, and they'll probably be true, right? I'm stupid, for one. I just am. I did not pay enough attention in school, I guess. I am not very good at critical thinking. I'm not very good at reading. I am not the prettiest person in the world. I am bad at sticking to things. There's lots of things you could say to criticize me. Criticize is the word I was looking for a second ago, by the way. One thing you can't say, well, you can, but it wouldn't be true, is that I don't have empathy. When I was a kid, every time I go to my grandparents' house from school, they'd pack me a lunch. If I finished something in that lunch without sharing it with my grandmother, I would beat myself up about that for days, because what if she wanted some of that and now I've just eaten it and she can't have any? I would literally beat myself up over that for days. I still sometimes do. Like, sometimes I'll have some chocolate and I'll finish it, and then my grandmother will be like, have you got any chocolate? And I will beat myself up over it for hours because I didn't share it with her. Or I did share it with her, but I didn't share it enough with her. because she wants some more and I don't have more for her. I can't scroll on TikTok and come across a video of a dog or a cat suffering and not cry. Like, I have empathy. I have a lot of empathy. I once cried because I found out that there's a kind of dinosaur that's so small that we only know that it exists because one of them flew into amber one time and got encased in amber, because they're so small that their bones can't fossilize, and that they're actually the same size as hummingbirds. So if it weren't for the fact that we have pictures and videos and stuff of hummingbirds, in like years and years and years and years and years, when they're relying on fossils to figure out what happened in our time, they won't know the hummingbirds exist. I bawled my eyes out about that one time. And I can get corroboration on that if you don't believe me. So yeah, I have empathy. I have a lot of empathy. And so for anyone to turn around and say that I don't have a right to care about these things because I'm not living in the US, miss me with that. Don't come here with that rubbish. I think, in the words of the late but great Tazmin-Jane Edwards, every person's a person, every life is a life. I'm aware that song isn't out yet, nor is it any of my songs, but I think that point still stands. And I wrote that song a couple of months ago, and I could probably write a whole entire second version of that song with all the stuff that's happened since, because the world just keeps getting worse. It keeps getting worse. And I know this isn't actually what the video is supposed to be about. The video is supposed to be about the book 1984. But my point is, I've realised the book 1984 is so relevant. If you just take the big bad being communism and replace it with capitalism and MAGA and stuff like that, it's not that hard to believe that we could end up there. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah. In conclusion, I take back what I said. 1984 is a great book and I highly recommend you read it. It will have an effect on you. I've been talking for over an hour and 7 minutes, so I'm going to love you and leave you. Bye.